other interesting thing about cloud is that there's shared responsibility, between the cloud service provider. Cloud service provider could be, Microsoft through Azure or AWS, and then the customer, who could be you, the developer, or an enterprise. There's shared responsibility. What does that mean? For example, if I purchase a cloud package, software as a service, and I'm leveraging off an application that is very native to the cloud, patching will be the cloud service provider's issue. But that does not take away still risk and responsibility from you. So now for you as developers, I will maybe speak mostly to you, it's to think as you're doing your designs, your blueprint, your architectures, how do you do that with security in mind?
Correct.
So it's to say, as you're developing your application, do not forget the basics. Authentication, authorization, username, password, multi-factor authentication of having more than a password. What else can you use to access this data? Are the right users placed in the right roles, such that you're guarding against unauthorized access. But the other thing also to think about in design of your applications is automate the build, the testing, the validation, and all that. But even as you do that, today with these cloud-native tools, there's tools you can use to embed security as you do the building, as you do the testing, and things like that. So it takes away a lot of the manual intervention, which also comes with error and also opens doors and windows, so to speak, for unauthorized access and attacks and cyber attacks. So key for you as you do your design, you want to have security in mind with you. But also, and this would be most especially for those that are in spaces where you're doing migrations. So there's two approaches, and you can go and read more about that. You're either going to do a lift and shift approach, or you want to lift and shift, carry it as it is to the cloud, or you want to refactor it first, such that you benefit from the inherent, benefits that come with building it in that way. So for you as a developer, it's more secure to think about doing refactoring first before you can take your applications to the cloud. It's the lazy way, really, to do the lift and shift, but you may miss out on a couple of inherent security features that could come with going the option of refactoring. So you could go and read more about that and see how to apply that. But of course, encryption is still very important, and that's for your data, whether it's at rest and whether it's in transit. It's a key consideration to protect you and safeguard you against cyber attacks. Logging is also another one. How do you log what's going on within your application and within your environment? And how do you then use the data and the information that has been picked out to see if you're at risk, to detect if you're having some threats, coming along your way? And again, there are different tools and SIM tools that you can use to do that. Firewalls, of course. What kind of traffic are you allowing into your environment? What is getting out? Very key. So having web application firewalls to manage what's getting in is also very important. Audits, mainly for enterprises, may not really apply so much to startups, but for enterprises especially, you want to consider doing periodic security audits of your environments from independent partners to give you an idea of how you stand, and then also vulnerability assessments, periodic vulnerability assessments, what is critical, what is low, what is high, what is important, what do you need to focus on, and things like that. What is the hacker most likely going to exploit real quick if you do not address an issue? And then how then do you go ahead to address all that? But another key one, which is away from the technical side, I would say, is on training. Like we've said, the whole cloud concept has been coming, although it has finally arrived. Like Michael said, I think the statistics were showing about 50% adoption in Africa. But what I'm saying is, even as we adopt these technologies, you cannot run away from reskilling, from learning, you know? And it's not just for the developers, but even the ones, the resources that will deal with the infrastructure. There are things that will certainly be different from what you ordinarily know with your on-premise setup. And even for the users who use these applications, you're as good as your weakest link. So training is one of those things that you always have to consider. And maybe lastly, Byron, penetration tests, you could also use that approach to see how secure, how strong your environment is from cyber attacks. Thank you. I'll just stop there.
Thank you, Joanita.